Hey, my name's Brad Gillie. Welcome to my shop. Today I am here with my son Corwin, who has a project for his college, and what we're going to do effectively is make a cosplay mask. Explain to him exactly what we're doing.
For the cosplay I want to do, the character has a giant TV on their head. It's for a song called Echo by the artist Crusher P. So it's a Vocaloid song. I don't know if you guys heard of it, probably not. But in the lyric video for it, he has this creature that has about six arms on it, and it has a TV forehead. So what we're going to try and do is recreate the TV head.
The great thing about this is we actually found a couple of things on Craigslist. We found a couple of free computer monitors, and these are 19-inch monitors. They're probably a really good size for the head. And we found a TV, except the TV we found is huge. It's a 27-inch old school television, but we need the back off of this TV to actually help make the mask. To do this, we got to cut it up quite a bit. And we're actually going to experiment with something. Now, I know you've seen this on TV, the 5-second fix. This is where it uses, I don't know, some type of goop and a UV light to instantly seal and bond it. Well, we're going to find out today if it works. In fact, we're going to find out a lot of things because we don't know exactly how we're going to do this. We have a pretty good idea, but we're going to be winging it along the way. So thank you so much for joining us. Step one is disassembly to get the parts that we need to build the mask. Corwin starts out with a screwdriver to get the frame off of the computer monitor. After Corwin gets the frame clear, then it's up to me to get the back off of this big old school TV. Look at how big that is. That's a 27-inch TV. My gosh, those were huge. One more. All right, so we have the back of the TV off. We have our frame out, which is going to be for the front. Obviously, you can see a big problem that this doesn't quite fit. So what we need to do is we really need to cut out a lot of the back of the original TV. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to use this seam right here and just cut off this back half with my little grinder. All right, so we've got the back cut off. We'll clean it up and make it look really nice. We have our front frame here, so what we need to do is resize this. Well, I will say this, the angle grinder, or at least the disc I had on it, probably not the best way to go, but it did get the job done brute force style. Now we got to get to some more detailed cuts, and what I've done was separate the two halves of what we have left, and I've actually marked a line. This is where the bottom of the screen is going to be. I'm going to move over to my bandsaw, which will make a nice, pretty cut, and we'll shorten this up now. All right, well, it's time to try our as seen on TV 5-second fix. I don't know how well this is going to work, but we're going to try it. The way the 5-second fix is supposed to work is you take this pen, and on one end there's a needle. What you do is you take that needle tip and you depress it on the two parts that you're trying to fuse, and it releases some of the goop, some of the solution of the product. After that, you turn the pen over, you hit the button, you hold the UV light on that section for 5 to 10 seconds, and when you're done, those two pieces are supposed to be fused together. So we're going to try this in a few different spots, and we're going to see how it actually works. Okay, so here's the moment of truth, the 5-second fix. Does it work or doesn't it? If this actually worked, just like the television commercial shows us, this should be bonded. What do you think? Is it going to work?
I don't think it's going to work, but we'll have to wait and see.
That didn't work. What we did find is when using this, if you built up an area and hit it with the UV light, there would be a part of it that would actually get hard. The only problem was it wouldn't bond these two pieces together. So unfortunately, this is a no-go, but we still have to get these two pieces attached together. Now right now, I have them attached with some gaffer's tape, but we don't want to have the gaffer's tape on the outside. So what I've done is I've grabbed my soldering iron and we're going to try a little plastic welding. There's a couple of different ways you could plastic weld. If you've got two seams that are touching real close together, you can basically try and take those and melt them together. As you can see, there's actually some gaps here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a scrap piece from where we had cut earlier and use it to melt in some of that scrap and fill in the gaps and actually try and bond this together on each side. And this should actually work pretty good. And part of doing it right is obviously having the patience, which I kind of have very little of. But I'll try and exercise some patience here because this is a very important project for my son. But as you can see when I pull that away, how nice and pretty that looks. Once that cools off, it's going to bond pretty well. All right. Pretty good. That is solid. Now what we need to do is add the face to the TV, so I'm just going to use the same plastic welding technique to get that on there. So we've got the face all welded on. We actually welded the bottom as well, as you can see right here. Now what we have to do to make this look a lot closer to the cosplay characters, we actually are going to trim the very top and round it off. Corwin's going to do that right now here on the bandsaw. Up next, we'll sand off the top of that and make it look pretty. For this to actually work as a cosplay mask, we actually need to have something to hold it onto somebody's head. So Corwin is using the bandsaw to cut the edges off of one of my old hard hats. Then I use the hot glue gun to stick it in there, and once we get a nice seal and a nice bond, we are all good to go. The whole purpose of this cosplay costume, again, is part of a project for my son's video production class. He's actually making a music video out of this, and we'll show you that a little bit later on. But for the screen of the mask, we actually needed it to be a green screen, so we took some green screen cloth, cut it to size, and I hot glued it in. Now, looking back at this part of it, I would have been much better off ironing it first. We've got everything done and complete, but what we want to do is make the outside and the edges pretty. As you can see where we did the plastic welding, heck, I even stuck some more hot glue in there. It's not perfectly pretty, but that's okay. So we're going to take some gaff tape and we're going to tape it up and make it look nice all the way around. Once we got everything taped up, we just added a couple of more details to it, and it was ready to go for my son's class project. Here's what it looked like in his video, and he did a heck of a job with this. My wife was the one that made the costume. We got part of it off of Amazon, and then she sewed in some of the extra arms, and we had some hands that we used for it as well. Came out pretty good. Now, I have to say, this was a really fun project to do, mostly because I got to do it with my son, and we really actually figured out a lot of things along the way. Feel free to leave a comment below. I know there was probably about 100 better ways that we could have done this, but this is the way we did it. He's happy with the end result, and I know his project is going to be pretty awesome as well. If you want a list of all the tools and materials we use, check it out below in the description. Also, make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit the like button as well. And he has a YouTube channel of his own that you can check out. What is it?
Alright, my YouTube channel will have it written down as well because it's kind of hard to spell. It's KickinWing723 Metal and then also KickinWing723 Gaming. You can find me on social media at any of those as well, just KickinWing723. And that's about it.
Yeah, if you're into metal, if you're into gaming, go check out his YouTube channels. If you're into making fun things, well, we'll be back next week with some more videos. Thank you so much for tuning in.